They called them conspiracy theorists. Paranoid, delusional, dangerous. They were right. Every single story in this video was once dismissed as a conspiracy theory, mocked, denied, covered up. And then the documents were released, the whistleblowers came forward, the lawsuits were settled, and history quietly rewrote itself. These are not theories. Not anymore. These are facts. Documented. Confirmed. Undeniable. And they should make you wonder, what are they denying today that history will confirm tomorrow? CurioCrypt, Fact File 009. The conspiracies that were real. The receipts exist. Case 1, MK Ultra, the CIA a mind control program. For decades, if you claimed the CIA was secretly experimenting on American citizens, drugging them without consent, trying to control their minds, you were called a paranoid conspiracy theorist. In 1977, the truth came out. MK Ultra was a covert CIA program that ran from 1953 to 1973. Its goal, develop techniques for mind control. Its methods, LSD, hypnosis, electroconvulsive therapy, sensory deprivation, psychological torture. Subjects included mental patients, prisoners, drug addicts, and ordinary American and Canadian citizens who had no idea they were part of an experiment. Some were given LSD without their knowledge and observed for weeks. Some suffered permanent psychological damage. At least one person died. The CIA director ordered most MK Ultra files destroyed in 1973. But 20,000 documents survived, misfiled in a financial records building. They were discovered in 1977 during a Freedom of Information Act request. Senate hearings confirmed everything. The program was real. The experiments were real. The victims were real. The United States government secretly drugged its own citizens in an attempt to control their minds. For 20 years, it was a conspiracy theory. Then it was history. Case 2, Operation Mockingbird, Media Control. What if the CIA didn't just run experiments on citizens, but also secretly controlled what they read and watched? Conspiracy theory. Until 1975. Operation Mockingbird was a CIA program that began in the early 1950s. Its purpose? Recruit journalists, editors, and media executives to publish CIA-approved stories, suppress inconvenient information, and shape public opinion. At its peak, the program reportedly influenced over 400 journalists across major American news organizations. It was confirmed during the Church Committee hearings, a Senate investigation into CIA abuses, in 1975. CIA Director William Colby testified before Congress that the agency had indeed used journalists as assets. The program's full scope has never been completely declassified. What has been confirmed is enough. For decades, the idea that intelligence agencies influenced mainstream media narratives was considered paranoid delusion. The Senate confirmed it was policy. Case 3, the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. From 1932 to 1972, for 40 years, the United States Public Health Service conducted a study on 399 black men in Alabama who had syphilis. The men were told they were being treated for bad blood, a local term for various ailments. They were not treated. They were observed. Even after penicillin was confirmed as a cure for syphilis in 1947, the researchers deliberately withheld it. They wanted to study what untreated syphilis did to the human body. The men were deceived for 40 years. They passed the disease to their wives. Their children were born with congenital syphilis. 28 men died directly from syphilis. 100 died from related complications. The program was only stopped in 1972 when a whistleblower leaked it to the press. The U.S. government formally apologized in 1997. President Clinton acknowledged it before the surviving participants. 8 men still alive after 4 decades of deliberate medical neglect. This was not a conspiracy theory. It was government policy, hidden for 40 years, behind the word study. Case 4, Big Tobacco knew. For decades, tobacco companies publicly insisted, under oath, that there was no proven link between cigarettes and cancer. They funded research designed to create doubt. They hired scientists to produce contradictory studies. They lobbied governments. They marketed cigarettes to children. In 1994, the CEOs of the 7 largest American tobacco companies testified before Congress that they did not believe nicotine was addictive. Internal documents, released through litigation in 1998, told a completely different story. As early as the 1950s, tobacco company researchers had concluded internally that smoking caused cancer. They knew nicotine was addictive. They knew, and they lied. For decades, under oath, to governments, to doctors, to the public. The settlement, the Tobacco Master Settlement Agreement, cost the industry $206 billion. It remains the largest civil litigation settlement in U.S. history. The conspiracy was corporate, the cover-up was systematic, the result was millions of preventable deaths, and it was called a conspiracy theory until the documents proved otherwise. Case 5. COINTELPRO, the FBI's War on Civil Rights. In the 1950s and 60s, civil rights leaders in America reported being surveilled, harassed, and sabotaged by the government. Conspiracy theory, until 1971. COINTELPRO, the FBI's counterintelligence program, ran from 1956 to 1971. Its targets included civil rights organizations, anti-war groups, feminist organizations, and individual activists. Its methods: illegal wiretapping, forged letters, planted evidence, infiltration by informants, and deliberately spreading false information to destroy reputations and relationships. The FBI sent Martin Luther King Jr. an anonymous letter, later confirmed to have come from FBI headquarters, that encouraged him to commit suicide. The program was exposed when a group of activists broke into an FBI office in Pennsylvania in 1971 and stole classified files. They mailed the documents to newspapers. The FBI's illegal domestic surveillance and sabotage campaign against American citizens was confirmed in their own documents. J. Edgar Hoover ran COINTELPRO for 15 years. It was called a paranoid fantasy until the filing cabinets were opened. Case 6. The Gulf of Tonkin Incident. The war that didn't start the way you were told. On August 4, 1964, the United States government announced that North Vietnamese torpedo boats had attacked U.S. Navy destroyers in the Gulf of Tonkin. This incident was used to justify the full escalation of American military involvement in Vietnam, a war that killed 58,000 Americans and between 1.5 and 3.5 million Vietnamese. The second attack, the one that justified escalation, never happened. Declassified documents from the NSA, released in 2005, confirmed that the August 4th attack was fabricated. The signal's intelligence had been misrepresented. The attack that started the Vietnam War did not occur. Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara, who helped present the incident to justify the war, admitted in his 2003 memoir, "It didn't happen." A war lasting a decade, millions of deaths, based on an event the government knew hadn't happened. And anyone who questioned the official story in 1964 was called unpatriotic, a conspiracy theorist, a threat. The CIA drugged its own citizens. The government controlled the media. Doctors deliberately withheld a cure. Corporations hid evidence of mass death. The FBI sabotaged civil rights leaders. A war was started with a lie. Every one of these called a conspiracy theory. Every one of these confirmed true. Subscribe to CurioCrypt. Fact File 010 is coming. Stay curious. Stay skeptical.